As soon as this commission makes a decision on our application for change locations, we are prepared to immediately move forward by closing on the property and commencing construction. Plans are completed, construction bids accepted, and we anticipate that the health department will approve our plans next week so that we can immediately obtain a building permit from the city of Newport. As a side note, we should have received that approval this week, but a key person at the health department who is required to sign off on our plans is on vacation. Our plans were filed with the health department on November 15th, and we understand that we were the second cultivator to file our construction plans with the health department for approval. Our plans were filed a week after the first cultivator filed, and as of this past Monday, we understand that only 3 cultivators have filed plans with the health department. If a decision is reached today on our application to change locations, weather permitting, we could be turning dirt as early as next week. Our contractor has estimated construction to take 5 months, given the time of year when construction commences, whereas we had originally planned 4 months or less, provided our construction had commenced in late summer. Our metal building has been ordered. Our HVAC systems have been ordered due to the lead times involved. I think that was referenced by one of the other cultivators who spoke earlier. To date, we have spent in excess of $900,000 for the building, and for the building and HVAC mechanical systems alone, we have committed an additional $3.5 million. Our original estimates on cost of construction have more than doubled, due primarily to the plumbing and mechanical systems being more extensive and expensive than originally estimated. However, given the financial strength of the owners of Delta Medical, we have the resources available to handle the increase in cost. As demonstrated above, we have moved forward notwithstanding our desire to move our facility 1.5 miles down the road. Another question, when will product be available? Depending on required approvals from ABC when construction of the facility is completed, we anticipate that product will be available 13 to 20 weeks after construction is completed. In our timeline, which is Exhibit 35 to our application, we had estimated from the start of framing to be open for business to be 27 weeks. So once we start, we will still be well within the time to get our facility up and running. Our best estimate to have product available after the construction is complete is July or August of 2019. How much medicine will Delta Medical be able to produce? As reflected in our application, we estimate that we will produce approximately 2,200 pounds of dried flower the first year of production, which equates to over 35,000 ounces, or approximately 1 million grams. We initially anticipate that there will be a split of 70% flower and 30% of other products. However, the market will tell us what the proper mix will be, which in fact may be a 50-50 split or even less. We plan to offer various extracts-derived products, including vaporizer cartridges, pens, lotions and other topicals, tinctures and pills, and oils for cooking and infusing food products. We also plan to initially, although this is a little bit of a moving target, we anticipate we will initially start with approximately 15 strains, which will cover all of the medical conditions for qualifying patients in Arkansas. Although there are approximately 6,600 Arkansans who have registered for a medical marijuana card so far, we anticipate that there will be approximately 20,000 registered the first year and increasing thereafter. The data on usage per patient that we've been able to uncover in other states is all over the place. We think the Arkansas limit of 2.5 ounces for every 14 days for a qualified patient appears to be sufficient. Depending on the illness, many patients will only use 1 ounce or less, which is 30 grams or less, every 30 days. With our production estimates, Delta Medical anticipates that we will be able to supply in excess of 20% of the qualified Arkansans. I'd certainly welcome any other questions you may have.
I know it's just a mile and a half down the road, but it's not changing counties, right? It doesn't, you're not leaving an economic zone. I mean, I know there's these borders, but you're in the same county, in the same, okay.
That is correct. We're moving down the road 1.5 miles. It's the same landowner. It's just we're buying 5 acres instead of 2.
So one of the questions I have is, I feel your pain on all the hurdles you guys have had to jump over. There was a question of definition of a school, a university. So if it turns out that, because I don't know, these come to be lawyer questions, but I mean, if it turned out that a university is not, and you just handed us a definition of a school, and, you know, to me, the university is a school, but then I guess it's going to come down to the legal part. But if the legal part says it's not a school, then they wouldn't even have to move. Is that? Now, I see 2 things in play here. I see you guys moving because there's a claim that the definition of a school is university. But if they came back and said, well, we decided the definition is university, I mean, because that's going to be a legal question. Then, if that's the case, then why do y'all even have to move?
Well, Dr. Rohn, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a legal opinion as to whether the university is a school under the commission's rules. And I think most everyone thinks that there will be an Attorney General's opinion issued that supports the definition that this commission has adopted, which would not include ASU Newport in the definition of school. However, that is a legal opinion, and that does not prevent legal challenges. And ultimately, it would be the Arkansas Supreme Court that would tell us whether or not the definition of school would include college or university. And then looking forward and making sure we are able to supply our Kansans with medical marijuana. As this progresses, and we've talked a lot today, I've heard a lot of talk about how we anticipate, or we've seen in other states, the ramp up of patients. If the legislature were to legislatively change the definition of school to include university or college, then while our facility would be, quote, grandfathered in, we're not sure we would be able to expand to meet the needs of our Kansans with qualifying medical conditions.
Do you currently have a lease or own 7301 Victory Boulevard?
An option to purchase, which was filed with our original application.
So you put money down and so you have an option
Yes,
to
ma'am.
purchase. So will you lose funds on that?
Since it's the same landowner, he will transfer our funds from the one property to the other.
So I'm like Dr. Ramon, so depending on this decision by our Attorney General, depending on what the definition is, why would you move? I understand what you're saying, but do you need to move if they defined it as not being a school?
An opinion from the Attorney General is just that, an opinion. And what we're concerned with, that won't necessarily prevent future litigation. And if there's future litigation, like we saw after the licenses were issued, there may well be a judge that would file an injunction and either stop us in the middle of construction or shut us down pending a resolution of the lawsuit. We want to take as much risk off the table as we can and prevent any interruption in the supplies.